Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
This morning's been one of some difficulties with us. It's weird. It's like we have two laptops. Neither one would recognize the Wi-Fi. The router seems to be working fine. We're able to get signal when we plug it in, hardline it. Yet, like every time I open up a website, it comes first that you have to hook up to the internet. Then if I reload it, it'll come up. But there's also a lot of buzz. If you go to Down Detector, there's a lot of people having issues in various places. We do know, we've gotten blasted by a CME. And in actuality, I might as well start out by talking about that. We jump all the way over to here. We just got a moderately strong M class, M 1.5 solar flare. Now, this is not Earth directed, so that shouldn't really be an issue. But, there's also the whole human factor, technology factor, bigger picture factor going on. First, I want to just ask everybody, just double check, make sure you are subscribed, because, I notice I keep getting unsubscribed from certain channels, and I keep hearing from you guys that you're unsubscribed. And it's wild, because I'll see us constantly all day long gaining subscribers, and then towards the end of the day, it's almost at like the same time, it's like there's a bunch that unsubscribed. So, if you gain 50 subscribers, you lose like 40.
Yep.
It's like they just hit a button and it just rolls it back. If you've never checked out evolutionaryenergyarts.com, please do. This will give you more information on Cindy and I and who we are and what we do. And we do want to thank our Patreons, because we really couldn't do it in these times without you guys' support on Patreon and Ko-Fi, as well as everybody that's using the wonderful product over at Medicinal Foods. So make sure to use the coupon code EEA, and it supports the channel. And it does get you a discount as well on stuff that's very healthy. Okay, so we see here the emergency V rule for the large employers will be issued in the coming days. And this is the one that could bring a $14,000 per incidence penalty to companies. And, I picked this up on a forum, and, of course, this is out of CNN, so this is out there everywhere. But all the people on the forum that are sharing their experiences, listen to some people say, yeah, I started my business 28 years ago. You know what? It's going to be its last week next week. That is so sad to see. People put all their time, effort, energy in building something, and watch it crumble away. It's just so horrible to see what is happening all around us, with people's lives basically being changed because of everything that is going on right now. And the Federal Register is going to publish within days the Labor Department's rule requiring private businesses with 100 or more employees to, they either have to have V, or they have to be tested every week. And, this is those dates for men. And again, we say things kind of in verse or chopping it up because of, the algorithms that are out there. Just like when we talk about the ruling party over in China, and we call it the PCC, so we have to do these things in these times because of what's going on. Now, this is huge, obviously, for many different reasons. And this is huge too. Unpaid fines, this is in Australia, will be taken from bank accounts and seized homes. This was out in the Daily Mail yesterday, I believe. They were talking about this. Everybody's buzzing about this because, people are finding they can't access, and the Galactics talked about this 3 months ago. For those of you guys that follow us and really watch all the videos and have been following us, for years now, you'll see that the information we're getting from the galactics and the guides is extremely accurate. Timelines can change, but you know what? For the most part, it's gone down exactly as has been given. And I just want to share that we stay up all night pretty much all the time. So our sleep is, well, it's broken up into pieces because the communications will come through at different times. And so, you know, last night it was about 5 a.m. That they came through. And the number one thing they were talking about was this. And they were saying that what you see going on here is going to be tried in other places, including, you know, the ASU. And again, if you put that up to a mirror, it comes up USA. So yeah, just, you know, realize that these procedures, techniques, what you see going on is again going to expand. Now the difference is, I think the response is going to be very, very different in the US of A.
I believe so too. I think people are ready to stand stronger and push back more and claim their sovereignty. We are doing that at a soul level right now. You know, we are stepping back, realizing that what the controllers are doing, and we are reclaiming our sovereignty in many different ways. We're just going to have to translate that to more of a 3D type of reclaiming, I believe.
Yeah, and you know, people that are able to, I've noticed a few people have said that they feel like they need to pay their mortgage ahead, just in case of a disruption where something happens, and the next thing you know, they're seizing your property because you didn't pay your mortgage, even though maybe you couldn't pay your mortgage because you couldn't access your money. You know, that's the crazy thing that we're going to see going on. Seizing homes is horrible, and you know what we see going on over in Australia. I mean, I honestly, I think it shocks people and just absolutely boggles the mind. And there's legislation going in over at the UK. So if you post what they call false information about certain thing, you could get put in jail for 2 years. So again, everything is going to a much, much higher level. And again, what we see taking place in these crown colonies, lands, however you want to put it, is again going to be making its way through different places just later on down the road, if they're able to. And again, that all depends on how people react, how much they speak up. New Iowa law guarantees unemployment benefit for workers fired over the dates for men. So we have Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signing this into law. And obviously, again, this is like two trains heading for a collision. Now, there's more cars to the train that's being added over here on this side. As we were speaking, you're seeing more and more governors, attorney generals jumping on this side. It's going to come to a head, and again, it's going to be, what does that look like? So Tennessee special session ends with bans on dates for men. So Tennessee has joined that side. And over in Missouri, you have Parson banning the dates for men for state government employees. And as we had talked about a little bit earlier, a couple days ago, you have 10 attorney generals in states with GOP governors filing a lawsuit. And so, you know, again, that was Alaska, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming. And, you know, this is all part of the Great Breakup. And, you know, I don't think there's any way around it, but I think everything has to be broken down. We just don't want it to be rebuilt in a worse way,
Right.
with more controls. And, here we go and we look and we have a statement coming out from Prince Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Prince Charles, looks like we lost our connection. See, this is what it's been doing all day. But then it does reload typically. He says that they need a vast military-style campaign. That's what's required to marshal a fundamental economic transition. What? And of course, we're talking about the Great Reset.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my plea today is for countries to come together to create the environment that enables every sector of industry to take the action required. We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector. With trillions at its disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
So there you go. And a fundamental economic transition into, I think most of us have a pretty good idea where that's headed. Now, what we'd like to see, I think a lot of us would like to see, is complete new reset, eliminating all these politicians from the scene and any sort of place of power. That's what's really needed. But don't you worry, never fear. Let's see here. Because, 46 is on top of it. And this is just another case.
Yeah, he's always busy doing stuff. I heard the other day he was at the Vatican and he had this accident.
Oh my goodness, yes.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
And I heard it was confirmed.
Thank God for Depends.
Thank goodness for Depends. That saved the day.
Maybe it was just a photo shoot for a new commercial.
It could have been, somebody racing to the restroom and, they don't make it.
Are you excited? Do you have a meeting with the Pope today? Well, if you have nervous stomach,
right,
relax. You're covered with Depends.
Right, that's nice.
Yeah, they should turn it into a commercial.
Yeah, we could do good commercials. We could be commercial people too.
But as you can see here, he is just thrilled at what he's hearing over at the Climate Summit.
Yep.
Don't you worry, he's on it. He's on it. He's got this covered. So, over in Shanghai in Disneyland, they found one case of the plague upon the land. So they locked everything down and got 33,000 people tested. Boom, like that. 33,000 told, wait, you can't leave. No, I don't care if your dinner's burning. I don't care about your...
I can't believe they can do that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, this is what's going to be for everybody.
That's horrible.
This is the system that they want for everybody. Yeah, 33,000 told, wait, stay there. We got to check you out. And whatever plans you had, you just got to put them on hold. And hang on one second. It's just going to tickle a little bit while we go up that nostril.
Right.
So, thousands of airmen, 12,000 or thereabouts, reject the date for men. So, setting up a major test for the Air Force. Think about that. 12,000 airmen. 12,000 airmen. Think about how weak that makes the military. Think about the timing of that. With all that's going on right now around the globe, as we're having our issues here.
Yeah, we've been having these issues all morning.
All morning. And, comes at a time when we see this was published today, Pentagon rattled by Chinese military push on multiple fronts. China's growing military muscle and its drive to end American predominance in the Asia-Pacific is rattling U.S. defense establishment. American officials see trouble quickly accumulating on multiple fronts. Beijing's expanding NUK arsenal, NUKE, its advances in space, cyber, and missile technologies, threats to Taiwan. The pace at which China is moving is stunning, says General John Hyten, the #2 ranking U.S. military officer. He said the pace that they're moving at is stunning. And he previously commanded U.S. nuclear forces and oversaw Air Force space operations. At stake is a potential shift in global balance of power that has favored the United States for decades. A realignment more favorable to China does not pose a direct threat to the United States, but could complicate U.S. alliances in Asia. New signs of how the Pentagon intends to deal with the China challenge may emerge in coming weeks from the administration of number 46 when he wakes up. Yes. For now, officials marvel at how Beijing is marshaling the resources, technology, and political will to make rapid gains, so rapid that the administration of 46 is attempting to reorientate all aspects of U.S. foreign and defense policy. And of course, it goes to the surprising speed of those hypersonic weapons and how, everything has changed so fast that their heads are buzzing. Well, when the actual power structure that really is the power that exists on the planet decides to go ahead with their plan of shifting power over there to CHINA, because, again, they could lock everybody down, tell you you're not going home for 2 days, 12 days. They could do whatever they want. People don't have any rights. It makes things pretty easy to get things done as far as their agenda. And that's what they have in mind for everyone on the globe. And then, of course, the financial reset, which will come in, and it won't be anything you could put in your hand. Anything that's tangible. Won't be any sort of trading, bartering. Of course not. No, it will be digital, because this is a digital world. They use the technology to their advantage. So, they don't want us trading in gold and silver. They don't want us trading in actual goods.
Well, anything that would benefit us, anything that would benefit the common person in getting ahead or being able to help other people get ahead so that we're less needy. We're less needy on the system. They want us as dependable on them as possible.
Exactly. If you and your neighbor make a trade and you give him 2 bushels of apples from your apple trees, he gives you 6 prize chicken and some, eggs. Where does that benefit the system? Where does it leave the system in control? And, they want a world where they would have to approve it and they would have to tax you. Again, it's all about the taxation. Everything is all about control. And then if you don't go along with the bigger scheme of things, they will even just take your bank accounts, shut them down. They will take your house, your farm, your everything. This is part of that control grid. And we see the U.S. 6th Fleet flagship USS Mount Whitney moving towards the Black Sea days after USS Porter arrived. And there's been a lot of rumors of troop buildup and a military buildup of very large proportions as far as Russian troops building up near the Ukrainian border. Ukraine denies it, though. They say they have not observed an increase in forces or weaponry, which would be a good thing. Now, we saw Belarus and Russia having major military exercises, China and Russia, and the scope of these exercises is always the largest ever seen. And when every single exercise is the largest ever noticed, then we should take notice that these times are a little bit different.
Absolutely, very different.
And this I just thought was something that was odd and curious, and perhaps indicative of not just a failure on the part of light bulb. But I wonder if there's something to this energetically, or maybe earth change wise. People are noticing a lot of blue and purple streetlights turning to blue and purple out of the blue. So much so that everywhere from Kansas all the way to Manhattan, thousands are being changed and replaced. Now, is it just a defective bulb? Or is this something to do with frequency? Is this something to do with the resonance of the planet changing, or something else going on here?
Oh, I would say it's got to be something with frequency and light. When you mix the two together, different things can happen. Strange things can happen. We have one of our family members who has a child that, if they stand under a street light, they can turn that street light off and make themselves so-called invisible. So we are becoming very powerful beings. Things are changing. People are changing. You can't really leave anything out. The controllers, they're not going to tell us our abilities. They're not going to tell us about our abilities, how to use them, what they're for, because then they wouldn't be in control anymore. And they're not going to tell us about the earth changes either. Things are just really amazing, and you got to kind of look at them through maybe like a child's lens, and just enjoy it.
Absolutely, yeah. Every time we talk to the Galactics, they always make mention of, we are watching the amazing changes happening to your DNA and to your consciousness. These changes are going to take us from a point of, and I had a discussion with one of our family members that I've known since the channel has started. One of probably the first 1,000 people that subscribed to the channel, and we were talking about faith and gnosis, knowing. We're going to go from a place of saying, well, I have faith in God. I have faith in this. I have faith in Yeshua. I have faith in the angels. You're not going to have faith, because you're going to have a knowing. A knowing. You're going to have a direct connection that is palpable. This is part of these times. Now, we've been in the dark, in the Kali Yuga, so there's always, people that will make mention of what's the date for men, and what's the PCC, because they're just coming in the middle. Or what is the Kali Yuga? Well, Kali Yuga is a dark age. We go through 4 different cycles, 4 different major cycles. And this happens all the time. It's part of the precession of the equinox. Well, what's the precession of the equinox? It's basically our journey through space, as we go through the signs of the zodiac. And the Earth has an associated wobble with it. Maybe that wobble won't be there all the time, because again, things have changed, and things are changing rapidly. Our consciousness is expanding. So, it was interesting too. There was an article up there that said 85% of the people that they surveyed, they asked the question, how many of you have had some sort of paranormal experience? 85% of people have had a paranormal experience. Well, I don't even know why we're calling it paranormal.
Right.
Because it is normal. Mm-hmm. It's paranormal that we don't, see, feel, know these things, such as the fact that, there are all sorts of beings on different densities, different dimensions, so to speak, all around us all the time. And just because some people don't have these experiences, which is by far the minority. The thing is, in this world, we're brought up so that people don't necessarily speak about it as much, because you don't want to look like you're crazy.
Right. They have the system set up really well for people who can see things, hear things. They have a place for you, and they have something for you to ingest if you're one of these people. God knows I know that.
I know. Hey, Doc, all of a sudden, I the pencil fell off the table, and then I heard a voice. Oh, okay, here you go. You need 2 of these. Take them every 4 hours. That's going to go away.
Yeah, anybody who's seen that movie, Drop Dead Fred, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Drop Dead Fred. So this is the thing. But those of you that don't experience it, ask yourself.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, have you pushed things out of your mind because you don't want to acknowledge something that could, alter your worldview? Also, look at, am I drinking fluoridated water? Well, I don't think so, but I do drink 6 Cokes a day. Well, yeah, there you go. You're drinking fluoridated water. Am I taking anything that may clear my acne, but give me,
Heart palpitations
heart
and
palpitations,
Yeah.
death, dementia, the big C, that all those things, these things that we might take for anti-anxiety, et cetera, et cetera, all those things alter your consciousness. And, you're going to be hard pressed too, unless you're somebody that's gifted. Notice these things if you're on those things. And just even diets, like with high fructose corn syrup, GMOs, artificial colors, artificial dyes, they're in there for a purpose. And it's not necessarily to make it look a much prettier shade of green. These things cause inflammation. Inflammation causes disease. They also cause things like foggy thinking, inability to focus. And, it goes on and on. So it's part of the control grid, and people are waking up to that. So, first off, if you're on some of these things, chances are you don't have your abilities developed to the highest degree.
Well, there's also times too, though, that your guides understand that you're not quite ready to step into that realm yet, and they will, if you have a very natural lifestyle and everything is really straightforward and you have a great diet and everything, and you're still not having any experiences, just I would go so far as to say your guides are protecting you. You're not quite ready yet. But and the other side of things, if you do have a bad diet, you're kind of doing that yourself.
Exactly. And so like with Cindy and I, we're both very energy sensitive. There's absolutely no way we could live in a city.
Mm-mm.
No way. We would both go crazy because of the energetic overload. Now, if you take people that are in these urban environments where you're constantly hearing horns, you're constantly hearing, cars, trucks, things going by, people yelling, screaming, music blasting, put them out into a countryside where they're around nature and nothing else, they might all of a sudden realize that they're not alone, even when they're alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, everything gets still. You might notice things like a tree branch moving when there's absolutely no breeze. Well, maybe that tree is saying hello to you. Because again, consciousness is everywhere. We've seen things like that too, where we'll look at one of the plants out there and the plant's moving. None of the other plants are moving. We've seen this multiple times, and we'll get into. I want to talk about elemental beings too in an upcoming video. We've talked about them in the past. There's such a misconception about things because of the power structure, and this is the problem with the mainstream religions that we've had is that they've made us so fearful of things that you shouldn't fear, and then they have us trusting things you should fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that is this upside down world to a T.
It's upside down, inside out, complicated, confusing, and very disconnected from the soul.
Yes. So as always, guys, we want to thank you for your support in every way. Stay prepared because, yes, the other thing that they said is the everything with the shortages, the supply chain, most definitely breaking down to a higher degree. So again, be as ready as you can be. And God bless and namaste.
Namaste.